Welcome to MakerFun Moments powered by Brilliant Labs. I'm Ian and I'm so glad you could join us. Did you know that Canada didn't have power plants producing electricity until 1881? Thomas Ahern, an Ottawa entrepreneur, installed Canada's first water power generator at the Chaudière Falls. Oh, awesome! We have a MakerFun caller!
Hi Ian, I was wondering how we can make changes in our everyday life to save energy. I have this light at my school that won't turn off, even when nobody's around. So, I was wondering if someone were to turn it off, how much energy would it save? It needs to be on during the hours 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. How can I find out how much energy will be saved if we turn it off when it's not needed?
Well, that sounds like a powerful project! Do you have lights that stay on in your home? Have you ever wondered how much energy or money could be saved by turning them off? Think about it and give the math a try. We'll share the answer at the end of the show. In our last MakerFun episode, we shared that the United Nations created 17 Sustainable Development Goals to help make our world a better, safer place. We're going to explore goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. This means everyone in Canada and the world should have access to modern, clean energy that doesn't cost a lot of money. Hydroelectricity is making energy from rushing water. Solar power is energy from the sun. Wind power is energy from the wind. Tidal power is energy from rising and lowering tides. And often nuclear power, which is energy found in atoms. Today, we're going to learn about energy and efficiency. We'll speak with a PhD student at Dalhousie University to learn about batteries and how scientists are working to make them more efficient and sustainable, and learn how we make energy every day with our hair, hands, and feet. We'll even explore how soil in your backyard can power a light. Now, let's explore and have a little maker fun.
Today we'll be teaching you how to create a Rube Goldberg. To start off, plan out your goal and your layout. For our Rube Goldberg, our goal was to fill a cat's bowl.
There are many different ways to make a Rube Goldberg, but here is our layout. Our layout starts with an incline that makes a sphere, such as a ball or a marble, travel fast enough to hit some blocks. The blocks will then hit a balancing lever to lift up some sort of ball, which will roll and hit more blocks. The second set of blocks will then hit a tower that will be knocked down to drop a bowl full of cat food attached by a string into the cat. Whacker for a tube to roll a marble down. The marble hits DVDs that fall into a ruler lever. The ruler lifts up a roll of tape to give it some speed to hit Jenga blocks, and a DVD. The DVD knocks down the tower of cups to pour the measuring cup full of cat food into the dish.
Step 3. Work on your project until it is perfect.
Make sure ramps are at a proper angle to give the ball the right speed to continue on to the next obstacle. Sometimes items don't have enough strength to carry or push other items. Here the ball was too heavy for the ruler to lift up, so in exchange I used a roll of tape which was lighter. Another example was that my Jenga blocks were too light to push down a book, so I exchanged it for a DVD. When using blocks, make sure they are the same distance apart. Remember to pay attention to the little details such as spacing, weight, and angles, all while remembering to have lots of patience as you will be needing to try obstacles over and over again.
Remember, be
CREATIVE. Creative! Think of different ways you could make paths with things such as pencils, dominoes, or even toilet paper.
Finally, step 4, show your final project.
Have fun!
And be brilliant.
Let's visit Mark to learn about making a better lithium-ion battery that will help power a more sustainable future.
My name is Mark Cormier. I'm a PhD student in the Department of Physics and Atmospheric Science at Dalhousie University. And my research focuses on trying to make better lithium-ion batteries. And I use giant computers, like bigger than your house, to perform virtual experiments to try to make better batteries that can hopefully power the future.
So what is a lithium-ion battery?
Well, lithium-ion batteries are really all around us. They power almost every electronic device that we use on a daily basis, like your computers, your laptop computers, your cell phones, and a lot of medical electronics. And now they're being put into cars to make electric vehicles so that we don't put as much CO2 in the atmosphere as the transportation industry grows, and every household has one or more cars now, right? So really they're a device that stores energy, and you put energy in and you can get it back out, and they work really, really well. And you can put the energy that you put in can come from various sources. So if it comes from the wind or the sun, for example, then this would be deemed clean energy because it doesn't come from coal, which produces a lot of greenhouse gases.
How does coal turn into electricity?
I believe that coal is used to generate steam, which is then, so water is boiled and the steam turns turbines that produces electricity.
What else is interesting about electricity that you would want to tell somebody?
For me, because of the nature of my research, what's near and dear to my heart is how do we power our everyday life? So from our household appliances, your washer and your dryer, your dishwasher, your fridge, your freezer, your stove, your oven, the list goes on and on. And where does that electricity come from? That is something that we seldom think about. And so oftentimes it can come from places that are not clean, like coal. And in Nova Scotia, I think we still have about 40% of our electricity comes from coal. And in my opinion, there's really no reason for this anymore. The technologies are there for us to generate electricity from clean sources like the sun and the wind, and even the tide. That's a very active area of research. So for me, that's where lithium-ion batteries really can play a central role, is when the sun's not shining, when the wind is not blowing, where do we get our electricity? Well, what batteries can do is take the electricity, store the electricity generated from the sun when it is shining and from the wind when it is blowing, and store it for later use.
What advice would you give a young person who wants to make the world a better place?
I think the most important thing is to think about what feels important to you, what you're passionate about. Because if you're doing something that you're passionate about, then you're going to be giving it everything you have. It's going to be close to your heart, and you're going to work hard, and you're going to pay attention, and you're going to be invested because you're going to care. That is the most important thing. And I think if most people were doing things that they were passionate about, then that would just make the world a better place to begin with. So I personally think it's less about what exactly you're doing and more about what matters to you.
when did you figure out that you want to do this for a living?
That is a great question. I followed a sort of unconventional and bumpy path to get to where I am, and I think that's completely okay. It's very difficult to predict the future, and predicting your own future is equally as difficult. So I think being able to adapt and adjust, and as you learn more about yourself, make new decisions is really important. And that's how I got here. So I wouldn't say that. I think I've been doing research now for about 5 years, and probably only about 7 years ago, I really decided that this is what I was going to do.
Why did you decide that this is what you were going to do?
While I was in university, taking courses like you do after high school. Most people go to university. It's also totally okay if you don't, I think. Again, it's about doing what matters to you. But I was in university and I was taking courses, and I got really interested by certain courses. They were courses in physics and mathematics, and I was just really interested. I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to take more courses like that. And as I was taking more courses, I was learning more about what I didn't know. So I had more questions that I wanted to answer. So I kept taking more courses in physics and mathematics. And that's how I ended up realizing, like, hey, I really want to do research, because that's sort of the frontier, right? To get to the front of the line of what people are doing in this field.
Fantastic. I love it. Those are the main questions that I have. Do you have anything else that you want to express or say? You have an opportunity to talk to a lot of kids. I don't know if there's something else you want to say.
Well, I think it's really important to think about the environment, and the research that I do, trying to make better batteries to store energy in the form of electricity, is really geared towards protecting our environment and allowing technology to advance without destroying the world around us. And, my hope and dream for our future is that we can live in a world where we can have really nice technologies that make our lives easier, that allow us to spend our time and energy on the things that we love, but that protect the planet that we live in. So it's really important, in my opinion, to ask the questions, anything, where does my electricity come from? I bet 90% of Nova Scotians don't know it. 40% of it comes from coal, but that's a really important thing to know if we're going to move beyond that and have better solutions. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and hold the environment near and dear to your heart.
Love it. Thank you very much. That's very cool.
See this ball? I said, see this ball? Thank you. This ball is filled with gravitational potential energy that is transformed into kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy the ball has when it is in motion, like this. The kinetic energy of the ball will keep increasing until it gains speed, until it finally hits the floor. What other ways can we create kinetic energy? Watch this.
Hello, my name is Camilla, and we're going to learn all about kinetic energy. This is the energy that an object has when it moves. You can make kinetic energy when you run, jump, or skip. But how can we use kinetic energy? First, let's talk about a wheel. When the wheel is still, it has potential energy. This means it has the potential to make energy. When I move the wheel, it makes kinetic energy. Hey, let's do a project. My dad helped me make this project to learn how kinetic energy works. When the wheel is not moving, there's no energy. When you crank the lever, it spins the motor and the motor spins the wheel. It turns the motor, and the motor creates energy to light up the bulb. But when it stops, it doesn't create any energy, so the bulbs can't light up. The next time that you ride a bike, run, or jump, you'll know that you're making kinetic energy. Bye!
Wow, that was another energy-filled project. Are you ready to turn soil into a battery? Let's go!
Hi, I'm Will. Did you know you can make a battery out of dirt? It's called an earth battery. So how does an earth battery work? An earth battery works because of two electrodes that are two different metals. An electrode is a conductor that lets electricity enter and leave an object. For example, this soil has iron in it. Iron is a great conductor. The second electrode is this copper tape. They work together to move electricity through the soil into these lights. Now let's make our earth battery. For that, we'll need containers, dirt, galvanized steel screws, copper wire or tape, water, the lemons to boost the current. So remember, to make sure that the screws you're using are galvanized steel. So first, you're going to fill up these small containers with dirt. Set them off to the side. Then you're going to take your screw, take a screw and a bit of your copper wire or tape and wrap a bit of it around the end of the screw. Once you do that, you're going to put the screw in the soil and put the other end of the copper tape or wire into the other container. Then you're going to take another piece of copper and put it into the soil that you put your screw in, and another screw and put that in the other container of soil. And once you have that all done, you can hook up both ends using your copper wire and tape to an LED. There we go. So here we have one that's already set up. It normally takes more than two because two of them don't create enough electricity to power one of these little LEDs. If you can't get it working, then you can use water or lemon to help boost the current or voltage. So that's your earth battery. You give it a try. Happy making!
How did you make out calculating the light energy question from the beginning of the show? I know these types of questions can be challenging, so let's use the power of teamwork to come up with the answer. Hey, Mr. Lingley, can you help us out with this question?
Hi, Ian. Well, listen, to calculate the amount of energy that any light bulb takes, incandescent, compact fluorescent, or LED, there's one thing that we really need to know, and that is the wattage. This is done by adding the wattage of each light bulb together. Although LED lights can vary in wattage, most used in schools or homes are between 7 and 10 watts. That's approximately 1/6 of an incandescent bulb. So for our use case, we're going to assume that each light in our fixture consumes 8.5 watts. You can ask someone at a local grocery store or even your parents on the back of the LED light bulbs that you buy what the wattage of each bulb is. So since there are 2 bulbs, we're going to multiply 8.5 watts by 2 to give us 17 watts. Next, we want to calculate the kilowatt hour. A kilowatt hour is a measurement unit of energy. 1 kilowatt hour equals 1 kilowatt of power used. So a kilowatt hour is watts multiplied by the number of hours the light fixture is on, divided by 1,000. 17 watts multiplied by 24 divided by 1,000 is 0.408 kilowatt hours per day. Now, if the light was left on only during the time it's needed at school from about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., the calculation would be 17 watts multiplied by 8 hours divided by 1,000, and to give us 0.136 kilowatt hours. So that's going to be a savings of 0.272 kilowatt hours per day. The average cost of electricity in Nova Scotia is $0.171 per kilowatt hour. So daily savings would be around 5 cents a day. I know that doesn't sound like much, but it sure adds up. Luckily, LED lights are more energy efficient than incandescent lights, but any savings is savings for our environment. If, of course, this is powered off of fossil fuels.
Working together saves both time and energy. Thanks, Mr. Langley. I hope you guys had fun making and exploring with us today. I know I did. What was your favorite part? Did you make along with us? Well, we want to see your MakerFun project. Share it with us at brilliantlabs.ca to learn how. And remember, stay brilliant and we'll see you next time.